The movie begins with best friends Bernie and Danny in the Broadway bar, a trendy bar in Los Angeles. Bernie is telling Danny about his recent hookup with a woman. As the scene switches between the two groups of friends, this woman, John, discusses the same hookup with her roommate and friend Debbie. John, according to Bernie, gave him a great blowjob, and John also enjoyed her time with him. The ladies eventually meet both guys at the bar. Bernie and John get extremely drunk and make fun of their friends, with Bernie mentioning Danny's ex-girlfriend and John calling Debbie boring. Danny and Debbie are awkwardly sitting there while the two have sex in the bathroom. Debbie gets a phone call and tells Danny she has to leave because she has to get up early the next day for work. He offers to take her out on a date. She then notices her ex and takes Danny's hand in hers. He makes a remark about Danny's height and departs with his friends. Danny tells Debbie that he enjoys being her pretend boyfriend, but if he were really her boyfriend, he would lock arms with her and then caress her cheek before kissing her. They return to Danny's house and have intimacy. Debbie tries to get dressed and leave before Danny wakes up in the morning. But Danny awoke and observed her getting dressed, even finding the bra she was looking for. Debbie returns to her apartment and tells John everything, particularly complimenting Danny's oral sex style. Bernie overhears and informs Danny at work, pressing him on the subject because he knows Danny is interested in Debbie. Danny and Bernie both work at Ceci McNeil and support her business, an Irish bar. Unfortunately, Casey isn't working as much money as he should, which means his loans are more to dry up. Summer has arrived. Danny and Debbie begin to see each other frequently, even skipping work to spend time together. He takes her to a Dodgers game and sits in the same seat as his father, all the way to the back, even though it is further away than they would prefer. She is content because they have the entire place to themselves to make out. Danny takes Debbie to Casey's after the game. Casey informs her that she is the first woman Danny has brought to the bar, making her feel special. Meanwhile, Bernie and John are constantly having sex with each other. It gets to the point where John and Bernie, if she is his girlfriend during sex, he hesitates, but when she begins to cry, scream and smack him in the ear, he relents and tells her that she is his girlfriend. When Bernie and John split up, tension rises. She explains to Debbie that she wanted to meet Bernie's parents, but he told her that she could not because she wasn't Jewish. Bernie tells Danny about dropping a Jew bomb on John. At the same time, Danny and Debbie's relationship matures. Debbie moves in with Danny at the end of the summer, much to the surprise of both Bernie and John. During the fall, Danny and Debbie continue to enjoy their relationship while occasionally joking around. Danny's ex-girlfriend Allison calls his phone one night as he goes to answer the door for a pizza delivery. Debbie notices it and shows it to Danny, but he chooses to ignore it so she won't bother him. Debbie expresses her love for Danny before they begin eating. Danny and Debbie attend a Halloween party at a bar with their respective friends on Halloween night. The couple is dressed as Ike and Tina, while John is wearing a blue wig and Bernie is dressed as Channing Tatum, as his character in Magic Mike. Danny informs Bernie that Debbie said "I love you," which Bernie interprets as Debbie attempting to set up Danny for something. Bernie enjoys his single life as the three sexy women in provocative costume pays for him and Danny's drink. John walks in and tells the girls not to expect anything from Bernie. He confronts John, who tells him she told them he has herpes. This escalates into a larger and louder argument for the entire bar to hear. At work, Danny and Bernie's boss, Ryan Keller, summons Danny to a meeting with the upper management to discuss the state of Cassie's bar. They will no longer support him because he has not made his cut. Danny is bothered by this all. Even then, Debbie takes him to a work party where he meets her co-workers and her boss Steven. Steven attempts to strike a conversation with Danny, but he is dismissive and rude to him. In an elevator, he admits to Debbie that he is frustrated with his job and is only staying to support her. She reminds him that isn't a good enough reason for him to continue working at a job he despises. Bernie and John were both invited to the same party by their friends, and Bernie notices John with another guy. It's clear that it bothers him. Kelly is prepared to let Danny go, but Danny takes the initiative and resigns. He packs his belongings and flips his desk over to express his displeasure before telling Keller to fuck himself. Debbie spots a puppy she adores while talking to a stroll around town. She desires it, but Danny does not appear to be on board with the idea. She returns the dog to its cage. With their friends, the couple throws a Thanksgiving party. Debbie is becoming irritated with Danny because of his lack of support for her and his general lack of courtesy. Joan becomes enraged when she notices Bernie bringing a woman dressed exactly like her. She keeps trash talking the woman in front of Debbie because she keeps saying "enchanted" to the male guest. Joan smokes the joint to relax, even allowing Debbie to take a few hits before anyone has a chance to eat. John and Bernie get into another fight in front of everyone before storming out. Debbie, who is too drunk to function, throws the turkey out the window. Debbie awakens the next morning believing she had a bad dream, but Danny informs her that she did intend act out in front of her friends. He does, however, surprise her by bringing out the puppy she had her eye on. Danny runs into Casey while walking the dog and asks him for a favor. Danny gets a job as a bartender for Casey. Although Debbie expresses her support, Danny disregards it and dismisses her when he returns home. Allison appears at the bar one evening while Danny is working. She still seems to believe Danny hasn't moved on from her, and she ends up getting very drunk. Danny takes her back to his place out of pity so he can call her a cab. Allison makes a move on him, but he chases her away after she kisses him. Meanwhile, Steven transports Debbie home and attempts to kiss her. She reminds him that she is in a relationship and that she loves him. Steven observes that and he would have to be a moron not to love her back. Debbie confronts Danny about not using coasters when drinking, but she becomes even more agitated when he mentions seeing Allison. She believes he slept with her, but he denies it. She asks if he wanted to, and he says he could if he wanted to. New Year's Eve has arrived. Danny and Debbie dine quietly at their home. Bernie calls a friend and informs him that there is a party at the Broadway. Debbie knows Danny wants to go, so they make the trip. Danny begins to drink in anticipation of seeing Bernie. Danny responds to Bernie's observation that he looks like he just got out of jail. Debbie is hurt, so she goes to the bathroom where she runs into John, who is delighted to see her. She expresses her displeasure with John and informs her that she is finished. When they return to Danny, he is already drunk and makes a snide remark about Debbie being boring. He goes on to say that John and Bernie should be fighting, which irritates both of them. Danny admits that he would rather go hang out with his friends than spend the night doing what he believes they will do for the rest of the year, fighting. The couple departs, but Bernie and John remain as the clock strikes midnight. He tries to kiss her, but she splashes her drink in his face, which they both laugh about. Debbie packs her belongings and tells Danny she will pick up the rest the next day. She asks him tearfully if he had ever loved her, and he never responds. Their relationship is over and they both know it. Danny continues to improve Casey's by assisting Casey in the construction of a grill in order to increase business. This is successful, however, both Danny and Debbie are depressed as a result of their breakup. She returns to John and sobs in her lap. Danny calls her out to meet up one afternoon, but she hangs up. During the spring, Bernie and John's relationship has been rekindled, almost sexually. Bernie tries to persuade Danny to resume pursuing other women now that he is a single again. Danny almost has sex with another woman, but he cannot get Debbie out of his mind. Similarly, Debbie isn't interested in the next man she meets on a date. John is aware that she misses Danny and instructs Debbie to contact him. because that is what she desires. Debbie accepts John's invitation to dinner at Bernie's. Bernie tells Debbie to put the food in the Ziploc bag when John isn't looking because John's cooking is terrible. When she returns, she and Bernie slap Debbie in the face with their relationship. In the final scene, Bernie and John go to the bar to celebrate John's birthday. They invite Danny and Debbie with the intention of reuniting them. They continue to trash talk each other before saying I love you. Meanwhile, Danny is out walking the dog when he flees through the street. Debbie is pursued by the dog. After she and Danny talk about it, they make plans to see each other again and reconnect. They walk the dog together, locking arms as they did when they first met. And this is where the movie comes to an end. I hope you enjoyed the video. Let us know in the comment section below which movie you want us to recap next. As always, until the next time.